last remaining territory on the planet that could have such a designation is Antarctica.
I know this sounds crazy. At one point, some people are like, what's going on with Antarctica?
Joe Rogan dives into one of the most intriguing and mysterious topics in conspiracy theories: the ice wall in Antarctica.
And that's where they say Eisenhower made a deal with these aliens.
Dad, there's a state trooper over here that wanted to talk to you. And they found these sawed bones, a few of them. We got 15 of them now that they found.
Joined by experts and enthusiasts, Rogan explores the speculation and controversy surrounding what might really lie beyond the vast ice barriers of the southern continent.
I think we're getting very close to rediscovering some of the things that our ancient ancestors were up to.
A sudden cataclysmic drop in climate. The cold, it gets incredibly cold.
Is it a secret military base, a hidden civilization, or something even more extraordinary?
I think the best evidence for it is ancient maps, which show the world as it looked during the last ice age. The presence of Antarctica on ancient maps, because we didn't discover it until 1820, and yet it's on maps drawn in the 1500s with great detail.
Antarctica, famous for its vast expanse of ice coverage, draws the attention and curiosity of many seafarers, adventurers, and explorers born with a pioneering spirit. These explorers are driven by the desire to discover the unknown and unwrap the mysteries of nature. These expeditions are pushed by universal scientific curiosity and the human spirit to explore the unknown and overcome challenges. They have opened the window to the secrets of this region, which was hidden for ages due to its remoteness and inhospitability. The expedition led by Captain James Cook in the 1700s was among the pioneering journeys to this region. With a humble beginning in Marton, Yorkshire in 1728, Cook emerged as a legendary figure in maritime exploration. His journey began as a young apprentice in the British Merchant Navy. He steadily ascended the ranks within the Royal Navy due to his unparalleled skill in navigation and cartography, coupled with an insatiable curiosity. In 1768, Cook set sail for his first significant venture around the HMS Endeavour, which lasted from 1768 to 1771. This expedition was undertaken with two goals: to observe Venus movement across the Sun and to chart the entire Pacific Ocean. Cook's findings during this voyage added greatly to the then world map and the nautical navigation knowledge that laid the foundation for future voyagers. This groundwork was also crucial to those who ventured into the icy waters close to Antarctica. Cook led another expedition from 1772 to 1775 and sailed aboard the HMS Resolution and HMS Adventure. Cook sought to locate the fabled Terra Australis Incognita, the unknown southern land. Although his ships ventured close to the Antarctic Circle and extensively explored the Southern Ocean, Antarctica remained elusive, shrouded in mystery beyond his reach. The third expedition from 1776 to 1779 brought Captain Cook as commander of the HMS Resolution, accompanied by the HMS Discovery. This endeavor aimed to uncover a passage connecting the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans in the north. Despite its focus on northern waters, he still could not access Antarctica during this voyage. Nevertheless, Cook's meticulous maps and expedition records proved invaluable to him and subsequent explorers navigating the dangerous waters and icy landscapes of the world's southernmost regions. While Cook's voyages are rightly celebrated for their contributions to global geography and maritime knowledge, his religious beliefs and faith are an often overlooked facet of his life. Cook's Christian beliefs played a significant role in his endeavors, with references to the Bible guiding his understanding of ocean currents and navigation techniques. Far from being incidental, these biblical insights were central to Cook's approach to each expedition. Aside from Cook's adventures, one is bound to look into the tale of James Ross Clark. Like Cook, Ross traveled to the remote areas of the frosty polar regions, expanding human understanding and improving contemporary navigation technologies. A respected officer in the British Navy and an experienced polar explorer towards the end of the 19th century, Ross was so important that his name features in every Antarctic exploration journal. Born in 1800 into a seafaring family, Ross was primed for an extraordinary life. Ross was involved in significant explorations of both the North and South Poles, and his discoveries initiated a new chapter in polar exploration and charting the world, making valuable contributions to modern exploration. His Antarctic endeavor, which began in 1839 and lasted until 1843, marked the most prominent phase of his brilliant career. The objectives of his expedition were ambitious. He was ordered to painstakingly map the deafening characteristics of the mysterious southern lands, to understand the specificity of new geographical locations, and to collect all necessary scientific data about planetary magnetic fields, regional fauna, and the surrounding environment. In addition to all his other achievements, Ross's name is known in many corners of Antarctica. It is associated with the most important discoveries the world has ever known. While his many achievements are noteworthy, the discovery of the Ross Sea remains the most outstanding. During this expedition, Ross discovered a stretch of water that cut into the territories of Victoria Land and Marie Byrd Land, which were named after Queen Victoria and Richard Byrd's spouse, respectively. This huge chunk of water was a landmark in the history of the Antarctic exploration trial. Ross's achievements in the study of Antarctica are not limited solely to the discovery of the drifting ice shelf, but also include the discovery of the Ross Ice Shelf. This ice shelf is an immense platform extending from the continent's shores into the Ross Sea. This awe-inspiring natural phenomenon, a towering giant, made all explorers stop to take pictures of this spectacular sight. In addition, Ross charted and named two mighty volcanoes, Mount Erebus and Mount Terror, sharing the same moniker as Ross ships. These landmarks contributed to the expedition's glory. Most importantly, they distinguished Antarctica's features and became important landmarks for later voyages. Undoubtedly, Captain Cook laid the groundwork for future exploration, but what Captain Ross discovered was phenomenal. Instead of being satisfied with his accomplishment, he went on to find more territories to map. This event was a turning point in history. After his return, cartography began to take a new form as Antarctica's outlines started to appear on maps worldwide. This showed that more and more parts of the planet were being explored, and consequently, more and more of the world was becoming known to the inhabitants. Ross's voyages bridged significant gaps in global geography, transforming the mysterious southern ice into a region outlined on maps and illustrated with newfound geographical landmarks. Now we turn our attention to Admiral Richard E. Byrd, whose innovative use of technology revolutionized exploration of the icy lands. Departing from the traditional maritime expeditions led by figures like Ross and Cook, Admiral Richard Evelyn Byrd, a figure synonymous with sky-high quests, reshaped the narrative of Antarctic exploration by employing airplanes instead of ships. Born October 25, 1888 in Winchester, Virginia, Byrd emerged as a famous American naval officer and aviation pioneer. He was particularly renowned for his polar expeditions, notably in Antarctica. Byrd's insatiable curiosity and strive for novelty led him to the farthest corners of our planet, where he became a legend with worldwide fame. This prominent naval officer's aviation journey started at the United States Naval Academy after graduating in 1912. He pioneered new navigation techniques and participated in aerial missions during World War I. After the war, he focused mainly on ice-covered areas of the South Pole. His first Antarctic venture, the first Byrd Antarctic expedition, spanning from 1928 to 1930, saw the establishment of Little America, a base situated on the Ross Ice Shelf. Byrd embarked on daring aerial explorations from this strategic outpost over Antarctica, gathering invaluable data and mapping the uncharted terrain meticulously. These pioneering flights deepened our understanding of the frozen continent and paved the way for subsequent expeditions. Byrd's subsequent endeavor, the Second Byrd Antarctic Expedition, conducted from 1933 to 1935, catapulted him to even greater prominence. During this historic journey, Byrd achieved a huge feat on November 29, 1929, when he piloted the Floyd Bennett airplane over the South Pole, carving his name in history as the first person to accomplish this remarkable feat. The Antarctic continent, encompassed by frozen seas, presents an environment considerably colder than its northern counterpart. However, Byrd's adventurous spirit knew no bounds. Leading another significant mission, the United States Antarctic Service expedition from 1939 to 1941, Byrd leveraged his years of polar experience, conducting various scientific research. Beyond mere exploration, his focus extended to weather phenomena, geological studies, ice formations, wildlife observation, and oceanic research. Additionally, his team diligently worked on enhancing equipment, vehicles, and survival techniques, setting standards for subsequent expeditions into the frigid wilderness. Thereafter, Operation High Jump emerged as a pivotal chapter in the history of Antarctic exploration. Undertaken by the United States Navy from 1946 to 1947 under Admiral Byrd's guidance, it is the most extensive Antarctic mission of its time. The mission's objectives included a comprehensive study of the region, establishing research stations, testing military equipment in extreme cold, and asserting the American presence in Antarctica. Taking place immediately after World War II, Operation High Jump mobilized an impressive array of resources. This included numerous ships, planes, and over 4,000 personnel, comprising military personnel, scientists, and support staff. The fleet boasted various vessels, from aircraft carriers to cargo ships and helicopters. However, the sheer scale of the operation and its remote location sparked speculation and rumors, especially about lingering German forces from their expeditions in the late 1930s, aimed at mapping and exploring Antarctica. While the war may have disrupted much of Antarctica's activity, speculation persists about German operations and their alleged secret technologies in the region. Similarly, Admiral Byrd himself has become the subject of various debates and theories, particularly concerning his statements and experiences in Antarctica. Unlike common conspiracy theories, some narratives are directly sourced from Admiral Byrd. In an interview on the TV program Longines Chronoscope, Byrd shared his first-hand experiences and observations. When asked about the presence of uranium in Antarctica, Byrd speculated that it might be the only practical resource to pursue there, considering the economic feasibility. He also hinted at the vast unexplored territories remaining on Earth, including an area as large as the United States beyond the South Pole, untouched and unseen by humans. The interview with Admiral Byrd on the Longines Chronoscope was broadcast on December 8, 1954, just under 5 years before the Antarctic Treaty was signed on December 1, 1959. The Antarctic Treaty was designed to preserve peace, execute scientific research, and conserve the uninhabitable Antarctic ecology. Furthermore, the treaty clarified that no new territorial claims would be made, and existing claims would neither be recognized nor disputed while the treaty remained in effect. The treaty came into effect in 1961, originally signed by 7 countries, including Argentina, Australia, Chile, France, New Zealand, Norway, and the United Kingdom. Since then, it has garnered widespread international support, with 56 nations joining as signatories, reflecting its enduring significance in promoting peace, scientific cooperation, and environmental stewardship in Antarctica. And now to the top question. What's beyond the Antarctic ice wall? Many theories and speculations surround the Antarctic ice wall, but the idea that the Antarctic ice wall serves as a boundary on a flat Earth is popular among flat earthers. In reality, Antarctica is a continent characterized by a massive ice sheet covering much of its landmass. This ice sheet, which can be up to 3 miles thick in some places, creates an imposing barrier around the perimeter of Antarctica, commonly referred to as the Antarctic ice shelf. However, while the Antarctic ice shelf is a natural geographical feature, its significance has been subject to interpretation and debate. Some individuals, particularly proponents of the flat Earth theory, view the Antarctic ice wall as more than a climatic phenomenon. They argue that it serves as a literal boundary encircling the edge of the flat Earth, preventing people and objects from falling off into the void beyond. According to this viewpoint, Antarctica is not a continent as conventionally understood, but rather an expansive ice wall holding the oceans and everything else within the Earth. Proponents believe that this ice wall safeguards against the perceived dangers of the Earth's edge, shielding inhabitants from whatever may lie beyond its icy expanse. However, from a scientific perspective, no empirical evidence supports the notion of a flat Earth or an Antarctic ice wall functioning as a boundary. The overwhelming consensus among scientists, based on extensive observation, experimentation, and empirical data, is that the Earth is an oblate spheroid, not flat. Additionally, satellite imagery and exploration missions have provided ample evidence of Antarctica's status as a continent rather than merely an ice wall encircling the edge of a flat Earth. Though the Antarctic ice wall could spark people's curiosity, it's merely a pseudoscience and conspiracy theory. It is not scientifically justifiable. The Antarctic Treaty was signed in 1959 and enacted in 1961, and it was a cornerstone of the international agreements for Antarctica. It sanctions the continent as a science reserve, but in return for these privileges, military activity is not an option. On the other hand, the restriction of movement area in the treaty is interpreted by some flat Earth theorists as intentionally hiding the Antarctic ice wall and stopping the public from witnessing the other end of the Earth. However, this interpretation doesn't take into consideration the purpose and meaning of the treaty. According to supporters of the flat Earth theory, images taken in Antarctica are falsified. They believe the pictures only show a harsh environment due to the severe cold and natural obstacles, such as sea ice and polar glaciers, that are meant to prevent anyone from reaching the whole area and realizing that the Earth is flat. A 1956 video is also frequently used as proof that the assumed city of walls exists in the Antarctic. This footage claims a magnificent wall of ice extending to the limit of view, and it is incredibly inspiring to see the snow piles transforming into a barrier that gives observation the illusion of being endless. Scholars have critically investigated the video and the resulting statements. Indeed, the visuals may undoubtedly be captivating with their dramatic ice formations. However, suggesting that the footage is evidence of an Antarctic ice wall acting as a boundary to a flat Earth is too baseless and highly speculative. Proponents of the flat Earth theory contend that the Antarctic ice wall serves as the outer boundary of the Earth. It forms a massive ring of ice encircling the planet's disk-like form and containing the world's oceans within its vast expanse. They often cite historical military expeditions and classified operations in Antarctica as evidence of a cover-up. They interpret these activities as efforts to guard the ice wall and control the spread of information regarding the true nature of the Earth. In the mid-20th century, the United States undertook several notable operations in Antarctica, each with distinct objectives and intriguing implications. Operation Deep Freeze, initiated from 1955 to 1956, was primarily a scientific endeavor to establish research stations across Antarctica to facilitate extensive studies in various fields, including climatology and geology. On the other hand, Operation Fishbowl, conducted in 1962 as part of the larger Operation Dominic, focused on high-altitude nuclear tests. The mysterious name Fishbowl, associated with Operation Fishbowl, has caught the interest of many, with some flat Earth theorists interpreting it as potentially indicative of their belief in a dome-like structure surrounding the Earth. However, such interpretations remain speculative and lack substantial evidence. The mysteries surrounding Antarctica extend beyond its icy wall, delving into theories of a forgotten past, such as the intriguing lost civilization theory. This theory states that Antarctica was once home to an ancient advanced civilization, possibly even the legendary Atlantis. One of the clues often cited to support this theory is the Peary Race map. This ancient map purportedly depicts Antarctica with remarkable accuracy. The Peary Race map, created in 1513 by the Ottoman admiral and cartographer, is a fascinating historical artifact. Some believe that it depicts the coast of Antarctica long before it was officially discovered. as part of the map shows a landmass in the location where Antarctica is situated today, but without its covering of ice. This has led to speculation that the map may be based on even older sources that charted Antarctica when it was ice-free. Adding to this mystery are satellite images that have revealed peculiar formations beneath the ice, including ones that strikingly resemble a human face and a pyramid-like structure. Some suggest that these formations could be the remains of ancient structures or even entire cities. This has led to speculation about a lost civilization that builded pyramids similar to the Great Pyramid of Giza. From a scientific perspective, recent studies have revealed that Antarctica was once a tropical rainforest, thriving with life approximately 90 million years ago during the Cretaceous period. The continent boasted a warm climate, dense vegetation, and diverse wildlife. This raises the possibility that Antarctica may hold secrets of a forgotten chapter in human history. Meanwhile, rumors of extraterrestrial bases in Antarctica have also persisted over time, suggesting the possibility of a long-standing extraterrestrial presence in this remote part of the world. In July 2018, investigative journalist Linda Moulton Howe reported an intriguing conversation with a former U.S. Navy SEAL, identified only as Spartan 1, who claimed to have inside knowledge of such activities. According to Spartan 1, during a secretive mission in Antarctica, his team accidentally encountered a mysterious octagonal structure emerging from the ice. Despite its formidable appearance with thick doors, the structure was surprisingly easy to access. Regardless of the freezing temperatures outside, it was warm inside and illuminated with a soft green light, although the source of this light was unclear. The walls bore unfamiliar symbols, defying contemporary understanding. Could Spartan's story hold true? Could Antarctica conceal structures not of human origin, perhaps even crafted by extraterrestrial hands? If so, uncovering these enigmatic edifices could revolutionize our historical perspective. Beneath the icy surface, ancient constructions or remnants of past or present life forms might lie dormant, awaiting discovery. Such a revelation could mark a pivotal moment in human history. In the 1954 interview, Admiral Richard E. Byrd hinted at vast unexplored resources and mysterious territories beyond Antarctica's icy borders. Did his Antarctic adventures lend validity to the flat Earth theory, or unveil the presence of a hidden civilization thriving beneath the ice? In 1946, following the conclusion of World War II, the U.S. government launched Operation High Jump, a large-scale military expedition to Antarctica. This operation showcased significant military power, including the aircraft carrier Casablanca, submarines, icebreakers, and a personnel complement of 4,700. Arriving in Antarctica on February 1, 1947, the mission, scheduled for 8 months, focused on aerial photography and establishing a polar station. While officially aimed at exploring resources like coal and assessing the feasibility of establishing military bases, reports suggested ulterior motives. This includes establishing U.S. sovereignty over Antarctic territory and locating missing Nazi leaders rumored to be hiding in Antarctica. During the operation, alarming radio transmissions reported attacks, heavy losses, and sightings of unidentified vessels and strange aircraft equipped with formidable weapons. These encounters reportedly resulted in significant losses for the American fleet, forcing a hasty retreat back to the United States by March 3, 1947. Despite the secrecy surrounding the aftermath of the expedition, subsequent reports revealed substantial losses, including a damaged aircraft carrier, ships, and aircraft, as well as casualties. Admiral Byrd's sudden withdrawal from Antarctica raised questions, with no official explanation for the operation's termination. Rear Admiral Byrd reportedly described attacks by mysterious flying sources emerging from the ground, causing substantial damage. Interestingly, after the expedition, Rear Admiral Byrd was sent to a mental institution for 5 years before eventually being reinstated to a commanding role in the Navy. This sequence of events has led to speculation that the government sought to suppress certain information rather than genuinely address Byrd's mental health. Press rumors believed that Byrd had encountered forces from a Fourth Reich or New Swabia in Antarctica, and that the flying sorcerers were remnants of secret Nazi technology. Regardless, the true nature of the encounters during Operation High Jump remains a mystery. According to different accounts, Operation High Jump's true objective was far more unconventional than initially perceived. Some claim that, in a remarkable turn of events, the U.S. government negotiated a deal wherein the president consented to aliens performing experiments on humans. These experiments, allegedly carried out secretly in U.S. national parks and forests, overlap with the enigmatic series of incidents known as the Missing 411. The Missing 411 is a collection of unsolved disappearances occurring under mysterious circumstances in national parks across the United States. So what really happened during these secret U.S. military operations in Antarctica? Did the U.S. military truly face off against advanced technology, possibly of Nazi origin, in the icy expanses? One theory revolves around the 1939 German expedition to Antarctica, during which they claimed a portion of the continent as New Schwabenland. Rumors suggest that the Germans established a secret base there and constructed an extensive city within a network of ice caves. It is believed that these caves possibly served as a refuge for Adolf Hitler and other high-ranking officials. Many researchers suggest the possibility that the Nazis had indeed established an alliance with extraterrestrials during World War II, supposedly gaining access to advanced alien technology. However, why this extraordinary technology was not used in the war, or why these alien entities chose to remain in Antarctica after the conflict remains a mystery. The Nazi regime's fascination with ancient civilizations and the myth of a superior extinct race led them on a quest for the Arctic homeland, believed to be the cradle of the Aryan race. The Vril Society, a mystical circle in Nazi Germany, believed in a primordial civilization that once dominated Earth's surface before retreating into the Earth's inner layers following a devastating conflict with another alien race. This ancient society was speculated to be the Atlanteans, the Lurian, or perhaps an even more ancient extraterrestrial civilization. Proponents of the Vril Society's teachings asserted that the return of these masters from within the Earth would bring about a transformative era for our planet. They believed that the key to surviving and thriving in this new age lay in harnessing Vril power, a form of energy accessed through deep meditative concentration thought to be a legacy of the Atlanteans. Between 1937 and 1939, the Nazis embarked on a comprehensive study of Europe's mines and caves, venturing into the uncharted regions of Antarctica. They searched for a supposed gateway near the South Pole, a mystical passage claimed to lead to the underworld. It was in this remote, icy wilderness that the Nazis allegedly made contact with superhumans in the legendary Rainbow City hidden beneath the Antarctic ice. Hitler and the Nazis' fascination with Antarctica was driven by a belief that the continent concealed something extraordinary beneath its icy exterior. Upon exploration, they discovered massive cities with sophisticated infrastructure and advanced technological constructs, some buried deep underground in a region they named New Swabia. The Nazis supposedly established a military base in New Swabia, known as Bas 211, to serve as a haven for secretive Vril technologies and to facilitate their advancement. During World War II, German submarines routinely traversed the South Atlantic, Antarctica, and South American waters, avoiding detection while establishing weather stations and deploying weather buoys. In 1939, during the German Antarctic expedition led by Captain Alfred Richter of the research vessel Schwabenland, an unexpected finding was made. They reportedly found an entrance to the inland, guided by the mysterious beliefs of the Vril Society. Captain Richter's team discovered an ancient coffin along the west coast of New Swabia. The coffin contained a series of tablets named the Elatum Loom, along with an assortment of technical devices and instructional texts. These artifacts, initially a mystery, were later identified as Sumerian. The Elatum Lum plates, moved to Argentina for safekeeping in 1941, contain a rich and complex narrative detailing the arrival and origins of the Anunnaki on Earth.
Antarctica is an extreme region, being the Earth's coldest, driest, and windiest continent. It is massive and the 5th largest continent on Earth, covering over 32 million square miles. Despite its harsh conditions, mysteries hidden beneath its frozen surface have puzzled people for a long time. One mystery involves a map from the 1500s, created before Antarctica was officially discovered in 1820. The map, known as the Perry-Rice map, raises questions about how ancient mapmakers knew about Antarctica and why they depicted it so accurately without modern technology. Historians and scientists have tried to solve this puzzle for decades, but clear answers are still hard to find. Another mystery is why there are so few people in Antarctica. Even though it's huge, with over 32 million square miles, there are less than 10,000 people there, primarily scientists and researchers on a temporary basis. It could be due to its super harsh and unwelcoming environment. Its temperature is usually around minus 56.2 degrees Fahrenheit, which can drop to a bone, chilling minus 128.2 degrees Fahrenheit. Also, the winds are powerful, reaching over 186 miles per hour, and snowstorms can last for weeks. With all these challenges and a landscape with few plants or animals, except for tricky penguins and seals, Antarctica is not an easy region for people to live in. The colossal ice sheet covers 99% of the continent, reaching thicknesses of up to 2.5 miles and holds 90% of Earth's total ice. Its potential melting poses a threat, with a rise in sea levels by 60 meters, endangering coastal cities and islands globally. Antarctica's allure has attracted explorers and adventurers, some successful, some not, and others who never returned. Among these tales, a chilling encounter unfolds. This is the story of a US Navy flight engineer's shocking experience in Antarctica. His encounter raises questions about what he witnessed and challenges preconceived notions about the frozen continent. What did the engineer see, and what implications does it have for the destiny of humanity? The answers are about to unfold. In the chilly month of January 2015, the esteemed investigative reporter Linda Moulton Howe found herself in possession of an email that defied the ordinary. The sender, a retired naval flight engineer seeking anonymity, chose to go by Brian. This desire for secrecy was not unfounded, as Brian was on the verge of disclosing a series of bone-chilling events from his past, mirroring the harsh Antarctic winds. Between 1983 and his retirement in 1997, Brian had served in the frigid wilderness of Antarctica, renowned for its brutal and unforgiving conditions. As proof of his service, Brian presented Linda with his DD 214 documents and other certificates, including an Antarctic Service Medal awarded to him on November 20th, 1984. These documents unmistakably verified his time spent in the frozen solitude of Antarctica. As a flight engineer, Brian had logged over 4,000 hours in the air over the continent. In that time, he claimed to have witnessed phenomena beyond most people's imagination. According to Brian, the Antarctic landscape appeared more alien than earthly, a place of stark beauty and mystery. Brian's duty station was the McMurdo Station in Antarctica, a location as remote as it was enigmatic. Located on the southern peninsula of Ross Island, McMurdo was the largest research station on the continent, established by the US government in 1956. Brian had flown to almost every part of the Antarctic continent, including the South Pole, over 300 times, and considered McMurdo Station the operational hub during their yearly deployments. The Transantarctic mountain range, situated between McMurdo and the South Pole, was visible from the altitudes of their flights, approximately 25,000 to 35,000 feet. A bustling hub of activity, the mountain range accommodated up to 1,200 residents at any given time. Throughout his tenure, Brian and his crew were tasked with flying cargo and conducting rescue operations in the challenging Antarctic environment. Their deployments to this isolated land occurred from late September to the end of February each year, establishing a routine that continued until the squadron was decommissioned in 1999. Brian frequently shuttled people to and from various locations during the Antarctic Squadron expedition missions. In his conversations with Howe, Brian admitted that initially, everything seemed ordinary. It was just another day in the life of a naval flight engineer. However, as the days stretched into weeks and months, a series of inexplicable incidents unfolded around Brian. The initial occurrence involved the sudden and unexplained disappearance of researchers working on a project in the nearby mountains. Brian and his team were dispatched to investigate the incident, but their search revealed no trace of the missing researchers. The only anomaly they discovered was a peculiar silver object partially buried in the snow, its origin and purpose unknown. A week later, the researchers reappeared at their camp and contacted McMurdo for a pickup. Brian's crew, familiar with the terrain and location, flew them back. Strangely, none of the scientists would communicate with the crew, appearing visibly scared. In another startling incident during a mission in the Transantarctic Mountains, Brian and his crew witnessed an inexplicable phenomenon. Several silver, round-shaped objects darted through the sky in a bizarre synchrony. These objects zigzagged from one peak to another, moving together in a peculiar formation. Brian described the phenomenon saying, "They're doing the strangest thing, going from this peak in a group to that peak in a group, and then they'd all take off." If only Brian had been the only one to see these things, it could have been easy to think he was imagining them or that it was a trick of the light. But many people witnessed these objects, leaving no room for doubt. The sight was so unusual that Brian was sure these objects weren't from Earth. Interestingly, Brian shared that these sightings weren't isolated. They happened repeatedly, making it a recurring phenomenon. This revelation raises a lot of questions. What were these strange objects that Brian and his crew kept seeing? Could they be proof of alien spacecraft? According to Brian, his time in Antarctica was filled with numerous and puzzling events. Each incident seemed like a piece of a puzzle, forming a picture of a world very different from the ordinary. Another incident occurred during a rescue mission Brian was assigned to. While the mission seemed routine on the surface, the circumstances were anything but routine. Brian had to go through a no-fly zone, an area strictly off-limits to everyone. Despite the risk, the decision was made to proceed because lives were at stake and time was running out. As Brian embarked on the rescue mission, he had no idea of the chilling encounter awaiting him. A massive cave entrance appeared as his aircraft crossed into the forbidden no-fly zone. This hole in the ice was huge, with a diameter estimated by Brian to be at least 200 feet. The sight was enough to send shivers down anyone's spine, even in the freezing Antarctic winds. The real fear kicked in when all the equipment on board suddenly stopped working after the crew completed the medical recovery and was returning to base. Brian and his crew were surprised to find men in suits at the base who were clearly not from McMurdo. These individuals, who seemed to be from Washington, D.C., stood out with their attire and demeanor. The reason for their presence so far from their officers became clear when they issued a stern warning to Brian and his crew. The crew was instructed never to fly over the massive hole again and to keep its existence a secret. This directive was as chilling as the Antarctic winds themselves. Despite their efforts to silence the eyewitnesses, the massive hole on the Antarctic surface couldn't be erased from existence. Brian's account suggested that the hole might be an entrance to something, but what could it be? Was it a gateway to an underground alien colony that the US government desperately wanted to keep hidden? While Antarctica is often seen as a barren wasteland and inhospitable to life, researchers have uncovered compelling evidence suggesting the possibility of life beneath its thick ice sheets. Near Mount Erebus, a volcano has created a network of ice caves. Inside these caves, temperatures can reach a balmy 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Researchers speculate that the combination of Antarctica's cold and the volcano's heat may have created a cozy environment, a stark contrast to the harsh exterior. The lead researcher from the Australian National University made some surprising discoveries inside the ice caves near Mount Erebus. Forensic soil studies found traces of DNA from algae, mosses and small animals, even though no visible plants or animals were present in the caves then. The research team believes that the warm conditions have led to the evolution of new species, possibly entirely different from those found elsewhere. With this evidence, it becomes more plausible to consider the existence of alien life forms in Antarctica. The idea is both thrilling and terrifying, especially when considering Brian's observations of unidentified flying objects, strange phenomena, and a large hole in the ice. What adds to the intrigue is that Brian and his team were instructed to keep their discovery a secret. If nothing was unusual about the hole, why would authorities go to such lengths to silence the pilots and their crew? Brian's experiences are not isolated. Others have witnessed extraordinary events in Antarctica. His observations align with those of another well-known adventurer, Admiral Richard Byrd, who explored the icy wilderness in 1947. During his expedition to the South Pole, Byrd reported a remarkable discovery: an enormous entrance to an underground world. These revelations from one of the most accomplished aviators in the US military sent shockwaves around the world. Admiral Byrd was no ordinary explorer. As a highly decorated naval officer, he was a navigator and expedition leader on numerous missions across the Atlantic Ocean, a segment of the Arctic Ocean and the Antarctic Plateau. Admiral Byrd made significant contributions to exploration, including the discovery of Mount Sidley, the largest dormant volcano in Antarctica. His reputation was built on impressive credentials and groundbreaking discoveries. Byrd's fascination with flying over icy landscapes began when he soared over the shining sea ice and grand glaciers of Western Greenland. During this time, he first heard a fascinating rumor about a secret passage to the mysterious center of the Earth, hidden within the frozen heart of the South Pole. Captivated by this incredible idea, he embarked on daring expeditions, skillfully navigating his planes toward the unexplored areas of the South Pole. On May 9, 1926, Byrd and his skilled pilot, Floyd Bennett, boldly declared themselves the first to conquer the daunting journey over the icy expanse of the North Pole. Their epic adventure commenced from Kings Bay in Pittsburgh and Norway, taking an astounding 15.5 hours in the skies. Along their route, they faced minor challenges, including an oil leak in one of the engines. Despite these, their determination remained unshaken. News of their triumphant achievements spread swiftly, prompting a nationwide celebration that hailed them as national heroes. Their courage and daring captivated imaginations far and wide, earning them the revered Congressional Medal of Honor. Despite some skepticism regarding whether they truly reached the elusive North Pole, their audacious journey left a profound impact. It inspired generations of explorers and etched an unforgettable chapter in the annals of aviation and exploration. Byrd's legacy continued with a series of daring expeditions to Antarctica, marked by remarkable accomplishments and a relentless pursuit of discovery. His commitment to unraveling the mysteries of Antarctica showcased unparalleled dedication, evident in the monumental undertaking of Operation High Jump. Some of Byrd's most mysterious findings remained shrouded in secrecy until the discovery of his long-lost diary. Byrd's journey to Antarctica took a mysterious turn in 1947 during Operation High Jump. Task Force 68, under his command, set out on an epic journey, but the abrupt suspension of the mission raised questions about the significance of the missing diary. In his Base Camp Arctic flight log, Byrd detailed his extraordinary journey to the Arctic in 1947. The journal documented his encounters with previously unseen mountain ranges and mysterious issues with navigation instruments. There were even details about unearthly flying objects engaging in a brawl with his team. Bird's encounters with inspiring landscapes and enigmatic entities added an exhilarating layer to his extraordinary journey. In his diary, Bird described an exceptional flight where he unexpectedly found himself on a mysterious mountain range. Contrary to the anticipated icy vistas, he discovered a vibrant and lush expanse teeming with life. This remarkable discovery happened during his February expedition into the depths of the Earth, where he purportedly glimpsed a colossal creature known as a mammoth. As he ventured deeper into this captivating realm, he encountered even more extraordinary marvels that left him in profound wonder. The intricacies of what he witnessed and experienced during this remarkable flight will captivate and intrigue an average person. When he announced the existence of a large opening at the South Pole that delved deep into the Earth, the public was understandably astonished. According to Bird, this ice-free zone was not barren but teeming with various alien life forms. If true, this claim would redefine our understanding of life and its potential habitats. The timing of Bird's revelations adds an intriguing twist to the story, as he made these startling statements while still in Antarctica's harsh and remote landscapes. Upon his return to the US, Bird faced intense interrogation about his claims, which the government immediately suppressed. Bird was portrayed as a man known to make false claims, and it is believed that he was ordered to stay quiet on the matter. The question arises, why would the government want to silence him? What motives or interests could be behind suppressing Bird's claim of an underground world in Antarctica? One possible motive is national security. If Bird's claim were true, it would imply the existence of a hidden civilization or territory unknown to the rest of the world. The government might have sought to keep such information under wraps to maintain control and prevent potential international complications. If there are inhabitants in the underground world, their nature and intentions could present either a threat or an opportunity. The government may seek to keep this information secret to avoid conflicts or competition with other nations. There could also be an interest in exploring and exploiting the resources and technology of the underground world for the benefit of the US. Some theories suggest that Bird's Operation High Jump expedition was part of a secret military operation. This operation aimed to establish a US base in Antarctica and investigate the possibility of Nazi activity in the region. Another motive could be economic interests. Antarctica is a vast and resource-rich continent with various territorial claims and disputes. The Antarctic Treaty System, signed in 1959, prohibits military or commercial activities in Antarctica. If Bird's claim were true, revealing a massive unexplored area in Antarctica, it could contain valuable resources such as oil, gas, minerals, and fisheries. The government might want to keep this information secret to avoid legal or ethical issues. They would want an advantage over other countries in accessing and controlling the underground world. A third possible motive is public opinion. Bird was a famous and respected explorer with a significant following. His claim of an underground world in Antarctica was sensational and controversial. This could potentially influence the public's perception and attitude toward exploration, science, and the government. The government might want to manage public opinion and avoid creating panic or skepticism. In summary, the secrecy surrounding Bird's claims could be driven by concerns related to national security, economic interests, and public perception. The potential threats or opportunities presented by the discovery of an underground world in Antarctica raise complex considerations for governments. The government's motive in suppressing Admiral Bird's claim might be to avoid public outcry, confusion, or excessive curiosity, and maintain its credibility and authority. Some argue that Bird's claim was a hoax or a publicity stunt, and the government might have been complicit in covering it up or spreading misinformation. A fourth possible motive is related to scientific credibility. Bird's assertion of an underground world in Antarctica was extraordinary and implausible. It contradicts established scientific knowledge and evidence about the Earth's geology and biology. The government might want to suppress Bird's claim to protect the reputation and integrity of the scientific community. This could be to prevent false or misleading claims from undermining scientific progress and discovery. Some experts have challenged Bird's claim based on navigational errors, lack of evidence, or inconsistencies with the physical laws and conditions of the Earth. However, the experiences of both Brian and Bird in Antarctica present a fascinating mystery that the land holds. Brian's account appears to confirm what Bird saw all those years ago, but unfortunately, the government met both men with the same indifference. This raises questions about whether there are indeed secrets that governments might be hiding about the icy wilderness of Antarctica. As for Brian's testimony, whether confessing anonymously about what he saw was a good idea depends on various factors. Anonymity might protect him from potential repercussions, but it also makes it challenging to verify the credibility of the testimony. Ultimately, what one thinks of Brian's testimony would depend on personal beliefs and perspectives on the existence of unknown phenomena in Antarctica.